Hey all, good morning and welcome to ShareTreck. I'm your host Raj. US stock index futures are modestly higher this morning, that is October 10th, 2025, as investors look ahead to release of fresh consumer sentiment data while market participants digest recent record-setting moves and ongoing global risk. Now, I'm just going to pause a little bit to get my other lights started so that you can see the other half of my face. So that said, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq are coming off slight declines from yesterday's session, but broader sentiment remains constructive with major indices still near all-time highs. We'll talk more about this when I talk about S&P 500 and show you what I think is happening right now. But for today, consumer sentiment report is in the focus. The University of Michigan releases its preliminary October consumer sentiment index. It's kind of closely watched by the market given the absence of other government data. So I think it'll have more significance right now. US futures are up, Europe is mixed, Dow futures are up slightly, S&P 500 and Nasdaq futures are firm, but European markets are cautious amid renewed worries about tech sector valuation and global growth. Gold pulled back a little bit. I think it has got still more to go down, but eventually it's going to come back up again, in my opinion. I'm long-term bullish on gold. And oil prices are steady right now, supported by hopes for continued stability in the Middle East and growing U.S. inventories. You saw a heavy push by United States to get Middle East peace done with a lot of ultimatums and everything. But this morning, Nobel Peace Prize was announced to the opposition leader of Venezuela. She's not very famous. I don't remember her name. But the fact that the Nobel Peace Prize for this year is gone means Trump is going to lose interest in the Middle East, and that could mean the tariff tantrums are going to increase, and other local political activities within the US are likely to increase. So that's likely to have a shadow on the market, something that I'm watching on. And there are several standouts, including energy and tech stocks, which traders are watching for hints of sector rotation and leadership shifts ahead of the opening bell. And there are lingering concerns about Chinese demand and slowing global growth that is prompting profit taking after the recent rally. I'm seeing that in the stock of Billy, which I hold, but it's still profitable in my portfolio, but it has taken a little bit of a hit. And mainly, I think we have to watch for headlines which have the word bubble in it. Even the US government is talking about a bubble in the AI sector. So one has to be very cautious. US shutdown uncertainty continues to weigh on sentiment, but the markets have largely priced in disruptions at this stage. And potential for Middle East peace plans are supporting modest risk-on moves in commodities and equities. But I predict that that's about to change. And this morning's price action is shaped by global events, risks, upcoming US sentiment numbers, and persistent questions about tech valuation. The overall tone is still cautious and constructive, but headline risk should shift momentum quickly into the new session. Now, I would like to also point out that we are on Friday. There'll be option expiries and other things happening, and people may not want to keep money on the table during the weekend. So all of those factors also should be considered. Now, I'm looking at the chat section. So I already have Hot Dog here, and David Best has joined. David is saying, expect AI stocks to go even higher with rate cuts to fuel cheap, easy money. And he's saying, final cheer for capitalism before a crash thanks to AI boom, blow off top over next 3 months. Bank of England yesterday warned of bubble. Yeah. So we have another subscriber, long-time subscriber, Jesse Isaacson, who also said that he's positioning himself for a blow-off top, and he bought calls. So maybe you guys have got something going out there. So I'll watch that aspect as well. Now, having said that, I want to go into our TradingView platform and look at S&P 500. I want to exactly explain what I'm thinking is happening out here. Now, we all know that we had this parallel channel in which we have moved all the way since 25th of June. And based on that, we are thinking that we should hit this edge somewhere and then come down. So that is the first line of thought. The second line of thought is that we have a bull flag here. So this line has come from here. So this is a bull flag. and then there's the flagpole, and then this is the bull flag, and this is the breakout point. And given that we have a breakout point here, we have a target of 7042.50. But there is a third factor that is on top of it. The third factor happens to be that we have a line of resistance out here, which impacted day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. On day 5, we closed above it, but we could not confirm. We came back down again, and today we are hitting at that resistance again. So this kind of elaborates what I'm trying to say. The market is still trying to decide whether it should go up further or it should go down. Now let us go into a weekly time frame and have a quick look. I'm just curious what it looks like on a weekly. So this is our weekly, and we have the weekly candle still below that line of resistance. So all put together, I think it's very critical for us to break that line of resistance. And once we break that line of resistance and confirm above it, then I think we can aim to meet this target of, let us say what it is, it's 7,048.25. Next, let's go to NASDAQ. NASDAQ has got similar line of support. It's not a resistance. And our price is languishing between these two extremes, and the upper line of resistance is a dynamic line of resistance, and it's going to keep on moving up and away. So even without breaking this dynamic line of resistance, eventually we can meet a target of 26,704.75, but it's just going to take a longer period of time. What is important to note is that we confirmed above this line of support. So I'm just going to drag this out. Instead of having a wedge pattern, we have a reverse wedge pattern where this is becoming like a megaphone. So expect more volatility out here. That's what I would say. And I have not written out my target of here of around 26,697. That could happen even without breaking this diagonal line of support, but it could take some time. Market sentiment is bullish, MACD is bullish, but tending to go on top of the signal line. Momentum is flat, but highly, very, very high. And RSI has plenty of room. So anything could happen. And dollar index is bouncing off this support of 99.197. We want to see dollar index close above this so that we can confirm this resistance. And if that happens, then we can build further from here. And our next resistance is likely to be at 100.058. Market sentiment is bullish, MACD is bullish, momentum is pretty good, but it's kind of declining a little bit. So that's the only thing we need to watch. Otherwise, everything is go, go, go. As far as VIX is concerned, VIX is up 0.06%. You see, every morning, VIX starts lower and then goes higher and then gets pushed back. That has been the story for the last 2 days. Is it going to be different today? We'll see. The overall market sentiment seems to be bullish. And if you go to look at gold, gold is again telling you a story that people are still concerned about geopolitical issues. People are still concerned about US treasuries. For the first time, gold reserves in global central banks is coming almost equal to US treasuries in the central banks. So it shows that central banks are trusting gold more than US treasuries. And therefore, I think there is a lot of strength out here. And remember, we have a bull flag out here. Now, let me draw this bull flag. So this is the bull flag in formation. We need 2 or 3 more candles and then a breakout. And those 2 or 3 more candles can either consolidate sideways and form a pennant pattern, or they could form a flag pattern by being up and down and within this. Remember, we could not break out of this diagonal line of resistance of the parallel channel. We broke out, but we couldn't confirm it because the very next day, we opened higher but came back down. Now we are consolidating here, and a good consolidation will help us to have enough energy to break out above this and confirm above this. We have already met our previous targets, and now we are setting up new targets as soon as this new pattern forms. Everything is looking bullish for gold, and there is plenty of room on the RSI. So everything is hunky-dory. And PCC is becoming almost neutral to bullish, very, very slightly bullish, but more neutral. And I'm going to look at the Canadian 5 years right now very quickly. Canadian 5 years is coming back to the neckline out here. So I'm hoping that we somehow manage to break down and reach 2.622. That will do a whole lot of good for our real estate business out here. Now let's go on to look at the indicators. S&P 500 is trailing below this diagonal line of resistance. Guys, I've already mentioned that I have a target of 6910.47 for S&P 500. Is it a guarantee? No, there is no guarantee. There is no 100% guarantee. But that's what the flagpole is saying based on the previous flag, bull flag pattern. And when you have bull flag pattern, it's not essential that you'll go straight up all the way in the next few sessions and meet the target. Sometimes you can form intermediate bull flags or bullish pivots and then move upwards. And sometimes you may take a longer period of time to reach that. But right now we are still in a bullish context and we have support from the parallel, which was with us for a long time and contained the S&P 500 pricing. That is now forming the role of a support. And today that support is going to be 6,729.56 and the resistance is going to be 6,792.54 with the eventual target of 6,913.15. MACD is bullish and it's kind of flattening out a little bit, but I won't say it is neutral yet. MACD is already bearish, but the market sentiment is flattening out. It's not yet neutral, but we have very high momentum, even though it's dropping. So the market is very nicely poised. It can drop significantly all of a sudden, or it could consolidate and then move up. All the possibilities are still open. So one has to be very careful. Now let's look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ is hitting at this diagonal line of resistance, and it is it's got some room today to reach the resistance, which is going to be at 25,182.63. Right now, we're at 25,098.18. Should we manage to break above this, then you know the drill. When we break above this, we have to have another candle which closes above this diagonal line of resistance and another candle that closes above the closing of the previous candle. So that's what we are looking for in order to confirm this as a support. Maybe it could happen today. If it does, then we are on our way to the target of 25,877.62 for NASDAQ. Now, let's look at QQQ, which indicates a positive opening of 0.19. Still, QQQ has a resistance here today, and QQQ is going to take a resistance of 612.74 as a challenge today. Right now, it's at 611.83, so not much gap remaining. So one way it would manifest is that the market opens in the first 30 minutes, we go and hit that resistance. Maybe we cross that, and then somewhere around 10 o'clock or 10:30, we start going down and come back below the line of resistance. This is one possibility. The other possibility is that we go up and close above that line, and then we'll be looking for confirmation of this line as a support. And if that happens, then we are aiming for 635.47, which is the target from the previous bull flag. So that's what I have here, my friends. Then I want to go into AI. NVDA is moving from strength to strength. And yesterday it had a gap up and a small candle. As I mentioned before, we have the target of 203.02 and pre-market it's up 0.69%. Sentiment is bullish, MACD is bullish, momentum is very strong, and there's plenty of room on the RSI for it to go up. Now, Meta is up 0.18 today, but it has got to break through this resistance of 737.41. Otherwise, it's still under the spell of the double top out there, which is likely to take it to 652.48. Now, what we have here could be a bear flag formation or a bearish pivot formation. So I am not going to write off this bearish target as yet. I want to see us break above this resistance and confirm above this resistance. And then we'll be targeting this diagonal line of resistance that has been coming with us for a long time. So that is a hard path for Meta. Google is up 0.19%. And 3 days it had been opening higher and coming down, and we have this diagonal line of resistance for it. So now what I'm going to do is I have got plenty of candles here. So what I'm going to do is look at line of support out here and pull this out, I am thinking that we are forming a bullish pennant. So if I was to buy Google, I think today would be an ideal time for me to buy Google because it has filled up the gap and it has got a target out here, and it's a bullish pennant, and it has not yet met that target, but it came very close to it. So that I think is a bullish thing. The only thing that will give me pause is the fact that we have a gap up out here and that the momentum is dropping very fast and MACD is absolutely bearish and market sentiment is very, very bad. But then what happens when a ball hits the ground? It bounces back up. So I'm thinking market sentiment after hitting rock bottom would start bouncing back up because many people will start thinking like me that we have hit the bottom already. So I'm contemplating probably buying Google for a short-term trade, not for long-term. I think I would probably buy it this morning and maybe sell it in the evening on the Canadian side, of course. Then we have Amazon, which is down 0.20% in pre-market trades. It still has support at 222.68, and our reverse head and shoulder pattern, which gave a target of 205.86, I think is no longer valid. I'm just going to discard this one and just remove this. But I'll retain this neckline to show some kind of a support out here. Now we have Apple, which is down 0.05%. Market sentiment is dropping, MACD is bearish, and momentum is also dropping. However, fear not, we have a gap fill to do. Probably this will be the opportunity for Apple to do the gap fill. And if it wants to do the gap fill, then I think it has to drop below this diagonal line of support. So it could not completely do the gap fill given that we are already so many days away. And this dynamic line of support has already gone up significantly above the gap fill potential. So I think we are looking at a support today of $248.30 or somewhere around 248.5 and a resistance of around 259.86. Now let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft is down 0.02% and we have a support here at 514.83. I would think of this more as a bull flag pattern out here or a bullish pennant pattern out here. And we already have a target of 535.23 that we were set to meet based on the previous bull flag pattern. So if there is a breakout from here, and if it takes us all the way to 535.51, I would be happy. So this morning we opened a little bit low, and we came back down and then we traced back up again. So it's a very narrow range of trading out here. So we are still seeing a green candle, but it also indicates how difficult the market is. Now I'm going to look at Tesla, which is up 0.43%. Of course, I'm a perma bear for Tesla. So I'll wait and watch what happens out here. Right now it is looking bearish, but we need more candles. Market sentiment is dropping, MACD is bearish, momentum is also dropping, but it's still above average. Oracle is up 2.15%. I'm still thinking that the gap fill is in order. It's about time for me to do line of resistance. And this was the line of resistance, and today it becomes a line of support for Oracle because Oracle is opening higher. As of yesterday, it was still below this. So pre-market, it's jumped up $6.40. And it's come up because TD Cowen forecasted $200 billion in revenue by 2030. And analyst Derek Wood maintained a buying rating with a $375 price target ahead of a key analyst day. So there's plenty of upside forecast for Oracle. And therefore, I think it has opened above. These are all sentiment manipulation by analysts and others. So that could be a small jump, and then it could come back down again. Just be careful because we still have gap up to be filled up, and market sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish, and momentum is just above average. AMD is down 0.21%, and we are going to have a support line out here. Let me mark this green, and this is also a line of support. I'll mark this green. I'm going to take out some extraneous lines that we do not need anymore and just clean up the chart a little bit because too many lines makes for a lot of confusion. So I'm just going to take this all out, and let's just give me one moment. We take all these lines out and just focus on what we got, and we'll draw lines as and when needed to show resistance and support. So at this point of time, this gap up shows that we have a very strong support at 203.55, and then we'll have very strong support at 170.41. So AMD is pretty good, but I wouldn't buy AMD at this stage because downside risk is much higher. SLCI is up 0.48% in pre-market trades. All systems are go. RSI has also cooled off a little bit. So that could be a consolidation here. I would look at a bullish pennant or a bullish wedge being formed out here, because we are still got potential to go all the way up to 62.35. So I want some signs out here. I'm not seeing any. Broadcom is up 0.93% in pre-market trades. We have a diagonal line of support, which shows support today at 332.15. And then we have the market sentiment improving, MACD also improving, momentum is above average, but a bit flat. If the overall market goes down, expect Broadcom also to give up the gains and test the support. But if the overall market goes up, I think Broadcom has an opportunity to rise higher and stay above the candle that we formed on 2nd of October, which would be 347.92. And that would be a very positive step for Broadcom to build a foundation and move up further. Palantir is up 0.14%. And I'm thinking that we are going towards the resistance of 189.48. Market sentiment is bullish. MACD, which was bearish, is almost on top of the signal line, ready to cross over to the bullish side. Momentum, which was average, has picked up significantly, and there is plenty of room on the RSI. And earlier we had a cup and handle pattern target of 218.88, which I had kind of written off. I'm definitely going to write this off again, but I'll leave the cup out there just as a reminder to revisit this at a later date, because many times the handle could be zigzag and then you can break out. So SMH is up 0.39% in pre-market trade. This is very critical for us. It's on top of the support, and the support today is 345.68. This dynamic line of support keeps on going up every day. So we seem to have some kind of a resistance out here. I would put a line somewhere out here, because this is where all the last 4 days, we have been pushed down. Now, for today, that line is 347.17. Right now, we are at 346.55. If we get pushed down today, then we will have support at around 345.68. So this is a very critical point. And if at this point, if we did have a breakout, it's more likely to be on the upside, because we are on a bullish channel, and any pennants that happens on a bullish channel is a bullish pennant, and the probability of breaking on the upside is higher than the probability of breaking on the downside, because the downside is usually the support line. So let us see what happens when the market opens. And Tempus AI is up 1.95%. It's almost recovered most of the losses it had the day before. And everything is looking good for Tempus AI. Let's look at Applied. It's up 29.98% or 30%, and it has jumped up basically after reporting a smaller than expected loss of 3 cents per share and revenue of 64.2 million, exceeding forecast by around 84%. So that's what is driving this sudden enthusiasm for Applied Digital. Now, this is market repricing its expectations based on what came out of the earnings. So the earnings expectation for the next quarter is what is going to drive the price from now onwards. Expect some profit taking and consolidation before moving up further. That said, I would like to go and look at Genomics, and in Genomics, I got Prime. Prime is up 2.14% in pre-market trades. As I mentioned, I'm looking at a bull flag or a bullish pennant formation out here and a breakout. I continue to maintain a target of 7.22 at this point of time for Prime. If it reaches that target, if I don't have any more positive signals, I'll be either selling or taking some kind of protection, like a call or something. Hot Dog is saying new clinical data from CRSP seems positive. I'll check that out, Hot Dog. Intelia, Intellia touched our resistance and came back down. It formed a very small candle and it's opening higher than yesterday today. So that's a very positive sign. We have resistance at 27.13. That continues to be resistance for today. And then let us look at Caribou Biosciences. Caribou Biosciences managed to go above our target of 2.78, but it got pushed down. If you see, the body of the candle is just below our target of 2.77. So it looks very interesting. The question is, are we going to be able to break out above this? Because if the body of this candle had been a little bigger on the bottom, I would have definitely called this a topping tail. It's not exactly a topping tail, but to me, it has got bearish connotations because we are at a high and we are already met and exceeded our target and come back down again. So this target no longer exists. It's already been taken out. So that said, let's look at Beam Therapeutics. Beam is up 1.90%. We still have a target of 29.50, but we got a topping tail out here. And today we are opening very close to the top of this tail. And if we close above this topping tail today, then we would have extinguished this topping tail and we can still aspire to meet our target of 29.01. Next, let us look at Altimmune. Altimmune is up 0.50% in pre-market trades. It's following a gentle upward slope and slowly moving forward as it waits FDA news. And Editas is up 5.64% in this morning's action. I'm still not getting any clear signal that would say that there's a bullish action going on. And a steep movement upwards like this is not very reliable and it's not very sustainable. So I'm going to wait and see what happens out there. Illumina is up 1.04%, but it still has got a resistance at 103.34. And if these candles were somewhere down here, then I would have said we are probably looking at a double top formation, but that prospect is not there anymore. And we don't have a inverse head and shoulder pattern either. Because I think it's just a wick touching out here. If I get desperate, I might consider that as a reverse head and shoulder pattern. And let us see what happens. We need more candles to make any prediction. Right now, it's not looking pretty good. Now, let's come to CRISPR. So CRISPR and Sirius dosing. There's a news out here, news article. This is from September 23rd. CRISPR and Sirius begin dosing in thromboembolic disorder study in EU. Doesn't matter. It's old news. So we broke apart from through our diagonal line of resistance. I showed you from the monthly chart. It's coming from a very long time. We were not able to confirm about this. And today also we have a resistance at 77.19. And if you see, we are at 77.00. So we are just below this resistance. Can we break out of this resistance? And can we close above 78.47? That is the big question. If we close above 78.47, that would mean that we have confirmed that this diagonal line of resistance is now a support. If that happens, we can see further growth happening for CRISPR Therapeutics. Now let's go on to Allogene. Allogene is down 3.31% in pre-market trades. It's going to get some resistance at around 1.66 and 1.67, and it's got support at 1.35. We have Grail. I was very worried about Grail because of the topping tail. We have still not taken out the topping tail, so I'll be still very careful about it. Grail is up 1.22% in pre-market trade. Watch out and make sure that it closes above 73.54. Next, we have PSAB, which is up 1.31%. Support continues to be at 1.44. ARCG is up 1.67%. And Vertex is up 0.41%. We have a resistance at 413.74 that has been converted into a support. And it was converted into support day before yesterday. And yesterday, we have confirmed this as a support. Therefore, I think today we are going to have very strong support from 413.99. Pre-market, we are at 416.55. So with that said, I think that our bull flag is starting to work out here. So we have a bull flag out here, and this bull flag broke out And I think we have a target of 439.89 for Vertex. So I'm going to leave this here as a target. And then we look at Ginkgo Bioworks. Ginkgo Bioworks is up 1.77% in pre-market tails, pre-market action, but the topping tail still remains, and we need to surpass 17.60 to get neutral. And right now we are forming some kind of a bull flag pattern out here, which is again a positive for Ginkgo Bioworks. I'm looking at Precision, which is up 0.31%, still getting support from 3.04. Eli Lilly is still within the is still on top of the horizontal line of resistance. We have managed to go above that yesterday, and were pushed back down again day before yesterday, and yesterday we managed to close above it, and today if we manage to close above 854.90, then I would say that the top of this regression channel is going to perform the role of a confirmed strong support going forward. With that said, let us look at Ultragenics. Ultragenics is flat in pre-market trades. It has got support. Let's do this diagonal line of support. It's got support at around 30.63. Next, I want to go and have a look at currencies. In currencies, I'm looking at Bitcoin. Come on, Bitcoin, where are you? Okay. So I have drawn a bullish pennant and we have already fallen below that. And that's not a good sign. I'm not going to modify my pennant. I'm just saying that we have fallen below the bullish pennant, and therefore we have to look at further drops. And that drop could take us to 119,983.66. That's where I think we are going. And let me just click this. Sorry, it's 120,026.75. That's our target where we are moving into. If the overall market moves, I think upwards, then I think Bitcoin will also respond. Ethereum is following simpatico. It's going down further. And then let us look at XRP USD. XRP USD is bouncing off this diagonal line of support. And for today, the support is going to be 2.7849. And resistance is likely to be somewhere around 2.8853, because that's where the last 2 days we have been pushed down. So that brings me to an end of today's session. I'll check out the CRISPR related news, and I'll also look at another stock that someone had, I think Hot Dog had requested me to look at. I'm just going to give you the name of that stock. And I think what we are looking at is that's the stock. Just give me 1 second. Let me just have a look at it and see. Yeah, I'll have to check the comment section. I think Hot Dog had asked me to look at a particular genomic stock, and maybe I already have it in the genomics out here. ABCL. ABCL is what Hot Dog wanted me to look at. So let me put ABCL. And yeah, Hot Dog, I remembered it. Thanks. So ABCL, it has got a bullish pattern out here. And I think it's ready for a breakout. It's looking very good on the charts, except for the momentum drop out here. But this morning's pre-market action is looking pretty good. It is $5.91. So I'd like to do some fundamentals on this to have a look at what's happening out here. It's expected to report its next quarter results on 6th of November. So why don't I take this as a homework assignment to study ABCL and maybe make a video on it. I suspect that it had a reverse head and shoulder before, and it has already met its targets. So we are looking for new patterns, and in new patterns, I would be inclined to look at it like this. So any breakout on the top, then I think I would like to see it go well. Yeah, hot dog. I look at its pipeline and other things the way I used to do for CRISPR and all. It's been a long time since I've done genomics deep dives. Let me do AVCL, and then I'll take a relook at CRISPR, Beam, Intelia, everybody. I want to revisit all of their pipelines and just give you guys an update of what is happening. That's a noble idea, as they say in US Prime Minister. If I don't have mental lethargy, I'll get it done. Okay, so that said, friends, I'd like to end the video for today. Please visit our Substack and have a quick look at what I've got out there. I'll have new articles every day, and any topic-specific video that I put here will have a Substack equivalent with even more details in it. They will be kind of my raw notes from which I created my video. So with that, my friends, I'd like to bring this video to an end. Thanks for all your support, helping me get energy to make videos day after day. Have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.